Hi, welcome to Firepower and Firepower Threat Defense. We're going to go through a very important section here. It's not as important, say, as network analysis, or tuning my IPS policy and things like that. However, it's a very important section. What makes it not as big of a section is you just don't do it all the time. We're going to set it up. We're going to do it right the first time, and then we're going to just let it run if we did it correctly. All right, let's run out to my FMC, and the first thing I want to do is reporting. And that'll lead us into task management where we go up here to system, tools, scheduling. So right now though, I want to go to dashboard over here where it says overview dashboards where we would start. But I want to open this up because I want to use these tabs, but I want to click on reporting. So I'm going to open up reporting, and reports are made with templates. And I never liked the old template styles they had with SourceFire and so on. But when they came out with 6.0, they came out with some templates that were called risk reports. And I run these for all my customers, especially my banking customers really liked them. The problem with these, you cannot change them, edit them, change the template, nothing. Can't do anything. All you can do is run them. And it's not bad. They're still really good. And it tells us, my customers, hey, we need AMP for endpoint, or it might give them some business requirement needs. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to name it. I'm going to change the name, and I'm going to copy it. And the reason why is I'm going to put that down here to email it. There's a couple things. So first off, the company name, say lamley.com or whatever. The author, putting in the contact doesn't have, they can't see that, so it's a waste of time. But you put your big name on there. It ends up on the front page, nice. So I'll put the subject in here. I'll say send email. Whoops, send email, and everything that'll go red here. Subject that I need to put in. So I'll paste that in there, notice, and then you absolutely have to get it to email, something has to be here. So I'll say paste here. You have to have something in here. And then the recipient list would be firepowergroup@lamley.com. So I'm setting up the template. This is where you tell it to email. You don't go into scheduling and tell it to email. You just put in the template, and inside the template it tells it to email. So this is where we put in our email stuff. So I do this, I create all the reports that I want, weekly attacks, risk reports. And the one thing I didn't mention, you want to set your time window, double check that, right? And we'll see these reports are kind of cool. It'd be nice if you can change them. Send email, and then I'll just paste this in. Just notice I copy them, it makes it nice. So don't have to change it, firepowergroup@lamley.com. Now I just do this for all the stuff that I want in here. And the way that to see these is under reports. Once they run, then we'll see them show up here. And so here they are right here. And sometimes it depending on the report, it takes a while to process. We can take a look at this real quick. Should open this up, and we can get an idea of what this report looks like. I don't have a lot of data, but it looks pretty nice, right? I wish we could change the logo, but something like that you can't do. Now, so that being said, I can come out here and use more templates and create all that, but let me show you a better way to do that, and that's to go to dashboards. Actually, I was already there. On dashboards here, again, I don't really use this for network analysis all that much. Some people like to leave the screen up, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to each and every one of these tabs, and I'm going to set it up the way I want with the time frame that I want. Maybe it's an hour, maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, maybe it's a year. Whatever I want it to be, I'm going to set the time frame. I'm going to get these guys all ready to go. And then I'm going to run a report on each one of these. The one you can't run on, the one I want to run on the most, is status. So it won't do that one, but it'll do the rest of these. So I'm going to say report designer. So over here, basically that report designer is almost on every page. It allows you to go out and run a report on any page that you're on, which is nice. I'm on connection events. I'm going to say, let me run a report on this. Okay, so if I come back over here and look at dashboards again, you can see you got to know what tab you were on, because it just names everything summary dashboard. I was on the networks tab. So I'm going to say summary weekly network. Right? Very much weekly. Come in here and save that. Now I've got a template. This is really nice. I can come in and change this. It says, man, I want this one in orange, or whatever. I can go ahead and change these around. But I get a nice benchmark, a nice foundation of a template. And a couple things I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to advanced tab, and it's I want a cover page. I want a table of contents. Yeah, I don't want to use Cisco's logos. I want to use mine, so I'd upload mine. The one thing you can't do on any of these is delete the Cisco logo. That would be kind of nice, but hey, upload yours and use that would be great. And I'll say, okay, if you want to run the report, schedule it, you can't put an input parameter in there. Just remember that. So once I do that and I put all the stuff in there, I'm going to generate it, which will ask me to save it once I do that. The format is HTML, this is CSS. I have my relay host. I want to do it in PDF. And then again, send email. And I'm going to put all these in here. And now I would do this maybe for each and every tab. It kind of depends on the company, what you want to do. I'm just giving you your options here. Okay, looking good. Now it's going to ask to save it. And now once I generate it and save it, now I can schedule it. So I'm going to go out and create all the reports that I want. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to come over here to task management. So what we want to do now is look at a couple things. I want to start adding some tasks. We'll use some other tabs that I've opened up there. First off, I want to do a backup. Now this is going to go hand in hand. This is my FMC backup. This is going to go hand in hand with my system configuration. So here it is. We can start it tonight. Notice it says 3. I want to do the backup, after work, but before I do any updates. So I want to do the backup as it is working, and I want to do this every day. Now, you may not want to do this every day. It kind of depends on your company. A lot of places I do every day now. I just can't afford any failures. I do have a backup profile in there. I'll have to go ahead and talk about that. So I'll say FMC, see if I've done this before, backup, daily backup, right? And hold on. Now, I want to do that. I need to talk about the profile because I had already created one. That's why it's showing up there. So I'll say backup restore. And if I didn't have one here, it would come up and say, hey, you need to create one. So I just happen to have one. So let's see where I put it. There's right there. So this is what it comes up and it says backup profiles. And it would take me there. And I would create a profile of what I want to do. And this has to do with the system config. Again, if you don't have one at all, you couldn't even save this till you created one. Okay. FMC, daily backup, whatever, backup is fine. One of the things that I don't need events. I might want to get an email depending on the type of environment you work on. I work on some where they don't care if the backup goes. They don't care if their FMC goes down, as long as it gets fixed. I have places that it's the end of the world if anything happens. They can't be down for 10 seconds. Now, the one thing though I highly recommend is this right here, where this is only going to back it up to your FMC. I want to back it up to a folder on a server. So if I was to look at this, if I come back and see where was I system config, here, I come down here in my system config in remote storage. So my FMC, this has to go hand in hand. So I come under here and I can do it through NFS, SMB, or SSH. So I'm going to set this up and I'm going to configure this, tell it's going to use for backups and report. That's fine. I can put in some command line stuff to run and make sure this is fine and have it match here. It has to match this path right here. Now, that being said, I also want to look at dashboards. If I have that open, let me see. If not, I'm going to open it. I might have it open. No. Okay, so let me come back over here and go, let me cancel. I'll just go here. Analysis or overview. So let me show you why I want to do dashboards. Then I might have that open. Under status, and I mentioned this if you went to the network analysis section, I mentioned this. You need to understand this when you do a backup right here. And this is why I come over here to the status tab. I love the status tab, right? I don't really use dashboards, as you're probably well aware, but I certainly use it for this. Notice my software version, rule update, VDB, these have to match. You have to know what those are when you did a backup. So you build your FMC the same way and restore it. If one of those are not right, you're going to get bad snort versions. It's not going to tell you what you did wrong. It's just not going to work. So what I do is I come back over here and I'll set the folder name, right, on my server and name it what those versions are, right? The VDB, the snort version, and the 623, for example, those would all be in the name. So I would be careful here and get those backups and make sure that it works. Test it all the time. Test it all the time. I had a customer that someone was cleaning up their vCenter and deleted their FMC. And although I had set up the backup, the folder had changed and stopped doing it, and they just said, we never have any problems. Well, when someone deleted their virtual FMC, you bet they had a problem. So it's things like that. Make sure this is a very important process. Now notice this is at 7, and this is going to back it up to a server as well. So I'm going to say save. And we'll see this in the schedule that's going to show, every day, right, at 7 p.m., which is going to allow us to do some tasks after that, before or after, whatever we want to do. Now, I can deploy policies from here. I think that's fine. After everything is done at the end of the day, I'm done with all the updates. Let's go ahead and deploy them. Sure, you may or may not want to do this every night. It, again, depends on your company, but if you wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and do this every night. So we're going to back it up at 7, do all our changes, and let's deploy at, say, 11 p.m. That gives us a lot of time to do our updates between a 7 and 11, right? Every day, right? So this is going to be nightly deployment, right? Deployment. There we go. And I'll just go, we're going to do all devices. And you can have it email you if that happens. That's a lot of emails if you did all of these, right? Okay, we'll keep going here. Now, I'm going to fill this up. And, this is an also important section. Very, very important. The thing is, if you just do it right the first time, you just really don't have to come back. Notice you can schedule an MMAT scan, right? Do an active scan and get that in our Firepower database. Now, we definitely want to do our reports. Right, I want to run my reports, say we'll do these once a week. I'll just do a couple here. I usually do 12 to 20 depending on the customer. And it depends on what this do. Let's say I have a Monday and I want to do this at 7:30 a.m. because for my 8 o'clock meeting. And I'm going to see which one I want to do. So I'll say, notice here's my weekly network report, right? So some of these that I did. So I'm going to say job name is weekly network report. And this is going to go out to that group that's in that template. And it's going to come out at 7:30 so we can all go through it at 8 o'clock Monday morning meeting. Oh, shoot. Yep. I got it. Got to start it tomorrow. That's what I was telling you. So go ahead and save this. So starting Friday, just Friday, we should be getting it. I did it Monday, right? Here it is. FMC backup. Weekly network report. Let's do another one. Report. And again, I would schedule quite a few of these to be sent out. Reoccurring. We have a 3 o'clock meeting. Let's say we have a 1 o'clock meeting on Fridays. So we'll get it at 12:30, and let's get the weekly something here. And let's go ahead and do this one. These are those Cisco ones, and so this is a weekly malware report for our malware meeting, whatever. IPS, you could have IPS. We can go in here. I think you guys get the idea of what I'm trying to do here, right? And we could do a ton of reports and having those emailed. So maybe no one's, I did it again. Maybe no one's going to read those, but everyone's going to have them. And then they won't have an excuse of why they don't understand it, right? You're getting into their email. They're seeing that you're busy sending them reports. You're actually not doing anything, right? You're doing this once. So we're gonna keep them inundated with management, right, with stuff. Now I want to download, hold on, before I do it, here's that Firepower recommended rules. If you've been through the IPS section, actually it was in the network discovery section. I did the Firepower recommended rules. Now you have to have good firepower data for this. And we'll say reoccurring, and we're going to do this after we do our IPS updates. And so we're just blacking up at 7, we'll do our IPS updates at 7:30. So I'm going to repeat every day. We'll do this one at 8 p.m. And I'm not recommending you just blindly go out and do Firepower recommended updates. I'm just saying you can schedule this, and we'll put this in all our policies. I only have the one. This isn't going to push it out though, but it would when I deploy it. So you got to remember that you might not, again, you might want to do this manually. I want to warn you about that guy. Okay. But I know some people that do this every night. That's what I'm showing you. Now, the next thing we'll do the updates. And the updates are here for IPS here. This guy here, we've got product updates. So I'm at system updates, product updates, rule, and geolocation. So these are the updates here. So I could just say manually download updates, right? This takes some time. I leave it here and it's going to come back and say, hey, we got this patch. We got a new VDB, blah, 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 right? So let's say we're going to do this automatically. We don't need to do it that often. Let's just do this on like Saturday. It doesn't even matter, right? So I'm going to say once a week on Saturdays, and we're going to do the software for the FMC and the FTD boxes and the VDB. That one we really want, right? Say download updates. It's only downloading it. That's all it's doing. So instead of me coming out and pushing it, it's just going to do that for me on Saturday. So now I can see them and I can manually update them. However, that being said, there is one that I want to do. And that's going to should be the next one. Install the latest update. Now, be careful, I can push out the latest updates to the FTD boxes, to push them out sensors. You can do that manually when you're going to do the update because it only takes a minute. It doesn't take long. So this isn't really that important to do. It's not installing. I would not install FTD or FMC automatically. I would only do it manually. So and here I'm going to install it. Let's still check this. Again, I'm going to do this every Friday night because I can do the VDB. Now it's probably going to come and tell, this really doesn't. I have to deploy, right, to make those changes. But remember, I'm deploying every night anyways. Downloading this, installing it does not do the interruption. Deploying could. And that's what they're saying. And you have to deploy to make it take effect. But in this case here, I don't care. I'm going to do this every Friday night before we deploy. And we were deploying pretty late. I'll do this at 9. And I'm only doing the vulnerability database. And notice it won't let me do it on the devices, only on the FMC. Now, the thing is, I'm not doing FTD software. I'm not doing FMC. I would never automatically have that done, right? How about that? Install VDB. Okay, good. Nothing wrong with this one. It's hurting nothing to do this. Okay, so if we look down here, we're looking good. We're looking good. Now, if you ever wanted to change one of these, you just click on it. So I just wait and then wait for it, and it'll show up down at the bottom here. There, and now I can edit it or delete it. Now, add task. And update URL. Now, I want to show you this one. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Why? Because it's in the schedule. I'm seeing that it happens. They only update this a couple times a month. So I'll do this, we can make it any night. It hurts nothing. I'm going to say, hey, we're not doing anything really much on Thursday night, right? We'll do this at 8:30, right? On Thursday nights, update URL filter. Now, I don't even have to do this. I'll show you why. I do like it because I like to see it scheduled. I like to see it happen. And if I come and I choose the right tab here, not that one, I can close that one. And this one, that's the one I want. And right here, it's already happening. It does it. Whenever there's an update, it'll go and do it. I could also come out here and manually do it by clicking this. But what I like to do is uncheck that because you don't really need them both done, obviously. And then I'll save that. And now I know I can just see that, hey, I know it's getting done. Here it is on Thursday nights, update URL filter, right? I don't have to wonder if that's being updated. So there's some good stuff in here, guys. Spend some time building this. Not quite done, hang in there with me, but there's a lot that we can do. And one of the things I want to show you is go back to that update page. Notice I got some downloads. So now we would come in here. Remember, this is being done on Saturday. We'd come in here and look at what needs to be done, see if it can do it without a reboot. And this is the VDB, right? And note this right here is the push, right? So it says, hey, push this change out. It's not something you necessarily have to schedule. You can, go ahead, but it's not really that important. It's not that much. Now, this is my IPS updates. Now, if I remember, I was doing the Firepower recommended updates at 8. So now what I want to do is come down here, and I want to say I want to do this at before that. So we're doing the backups at 7. So I want to do this at 7:30. Now we're going to do the recommended updates at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to save that. Now we redeploy after that, don't we? So I don't have to redeploy here. The other thing I'm going to do, this isn't really important when it's done, but I think you should do it and schedule it. I'll just do it Tuesday, 1 a.m., whatever, right? Maybe I want to do it Saturday night, Sunday morning, Saturday, Friday night, whatever, Saturday morning, 1 a.m. It's a pretty big update. It could take a half hour or so to do this. Lots of IPs changing around, but this is the only place that you can set that. And same with the rule updates here. So between our task management here, right? So if I come out here and look at my task management and look at the next month here, or just come in here, come on, and click there, then we'll see that everything that's happening. What you want to do, come in here and check this every once in a while, but if you do this right, you spend a lot of time with it. It's also important, but you just don't have to do it all the time if you did it right the first time. So don't forget to do reporting and task management, very important stuff.